Badass Attitudes, licensed here, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. A badass is determined to grow, disciplined in the process, and dedicated to the goals. Turn up your energy with Mustang Monday. Here once again in the driver's seat is Kelly Orchard. This is badass territory, no sniveling.
I just love how Bobby Ocean introduces me. That's right. This is badass territory, no sniveling. Hi, everybody. I'm Kelly Orchard, the Badass Certifier. This is our March Badass Leadership Summit. And today on this Mustang Monday, I've got some great tips for you. But first, I want you to know it's the beginning of spring, and we're covering the letter D in badass, which means to decide, to grow and succeed. It also means that you got to stay determined and dedicated so that you can dominate. I've got a lot of D's in the letter D in badass. That always works. And this is our Badass Leadership Summit. And today in the Mustang, my guests that hopped in the seat, Steve Nicholson from Temecula Hyundai and fellow Rotarian, with some heartfelt badass tips to never give up. And then I've got my dad in the seat who's over 80, sharing some of his badass insights to life and leadership.
Teaching you to love Monday. Mustang Monday. Fast cars, fun chats, and badass business and personal tips from the streets. Driving home a positive message with interviews conducted in Kelly's 2006 Mustang.
Hey, Bobby, you know that it's a real Mustang, right?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, you would, because you're playing the yes man, aren't you?
That's right, Kelly.
So, hey, everybody. Mustang Monday, Kelly Orchard back again in the car with my friend Steve Nicholson. I know Steve from Rotary, but normally he follows me on Facebook too, and whenever I do a live videos, he says, "Hey, BA," meaning badass. But I told him that that could have other meanings, so stop calling me that.
Well, I should say BF because I'm a big fan.
Oh, I love that. Thank you. Well, before all this shutdown and everything happened, we had talked about you getting in the car and doing a Mustang Monday with me. And I had actually was going to approach you anyway. So we had this boom, and then the world fell apart. So thankfully we're back in the car and we're able to do one now. And really what we were talking about was that you have quite a story. And I want you to be able to share your story because it is so incredible. And so just tell them. Okay, so you're a car guy, and he said it's anything car related, you call me. And so I did a couple times, and he has been tremendous help. But tell your story for them out there.
Well, I love what you just said about how the bottom dropped out, and because on the 29th day of April 2016, my bottom dropped out, and there were some rocks in a service drive. Fast forward, I went and got the service manager to use it as a teaching moment to say, hey, sweep these rocks up before someone breaks their neck. I was actually dropping my vehicle off at one of our stores to get an oil change. And while I was there, I slipped and fell, and I hit my head and suffered a traumatic brain injury, fractured a wrist, dislocated a hip. But in the process of all that, when I woke up in the ICU unit, the doctor had told me that I said, sometimes it takes a fall for you to see where you stand.
Wow. Okay.
And I thought...
Okay, hold on, that's beautiful. Say that again.
Sometimes it takes a fall
to see where you stand.
To see where you stand.
Yeah.
And in my case, I think that I think the Lord was telling me at that point that I needed to leave that organization. And I'd been there for so long, I just didn't want to do it. And but fast forwarding, as in through the next 18 months, it was a life changer for me. Going through speech therapy.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the brain injury, the traumatic brain injury, and what that meant. How long were you hospitalized?
Well, I was hospitalized only for a few short days.
Okay.
But then I was back in and out of therapy.
Right, because you had
going and see neurologists and MRIs.
You had to relearn everything, didn't you?
Everything.
So, okay, was your memory intact?
No.
Did you know who you were?
Pretty much. Some of that stuff I knew, but a lot of stuff that you think you would know, I didn't know.
Right.
Stuff that I knew from a long time ago that I probably had forgot, I remembered.
Right, the more embedded memories, right?
Correct.
The ones that are deeper.
Correct. And it was amazing, and going through what I went through with 4 or 5 neurologists, physical therapists, orthopedic people telling me I needed surgery on this or that. But through all of that, it was a real learning expedition for me to figure out. I mean, here I am, mature in my livelihood with relationships in the car business, and all of that was taken away. I mean, literally like that.
Right. Well, I think, and that's how he and I, we kind of bonded over that, because my heart issue, that I had in 2006 derailed my life and career too. Clearly not the same as Steve. So everybody has something different, but it is a matter of, it's like, it doesn't matter what happened, it's what you do with it afterwards.
No, 100%.
Right? So 100%. So, all right, so you've recovered, but it took a long time to relearn all these things, and your career was kind of taken away.
Well, everything was taken away,
too.
and then you start looking at, am I going to be able to afford my house? How am I going to be able to pay for my cars? How can I do this? How can I do that? On top of everything else you're worried about staying alive.
Yeah.
Because with a traumatic brain injury, and when you have a potential, you have two little like little blood spots, or they're called aneurysms, and they say, well, those could pop at any time.
Total fear, right?
They put you out on total disability, total fear.
Yeah.
You just go,
my life is over.
My life is wrecked.
Yeah.
But it's not.
Right, it's not. You just get a chance to rebuild. Because
I got to tell you something. I got a card in the mail from my father-in-law, and it had a picture of a frog. Had a picture of a bird. And there was a frog going inside the bird's mouth. And the frog's arms were outside of the bird's mouth. His whole head was in the bird's mouth. Mm-hmm. But the frog's hands were around the neck of the bird. Mm-hmm. And on the bottom of the card it said, never give up. And if I can give anyone advice today... Is
that your badass tip? Never give up.
That's my badass tip. Yeah. Just never give up. Yeah. Because you don't know when it's over. Mm-hmm. And you ever see the movie Animal House with John Belushi?
It's been a while, but yes.
Okay, there's one of my favorite lines in that movie was, he said, over? It's not over. He goes, was it over when the Germans bombed Pearl Harbor? And the guy leans over and goes, the Germans didn't bomb Pearl Harbor. And he goes, yeah, but it's okay, don't stop him, he's on a roll. So what happens is, to that point, you get on a roll, and who can stop you?
Yeah.
The only person that can stop you is you.
Right.
And when I came to that realization that this wasn't about the neurologist or the speech therapist or the all of these people medical professionals I was going to see, it came down to one thing. It was about, hey, what are you going to do?
Right. What are you going to do about it?
And it was amazing.
That's a good question. Look at them and say that. What are you going to do?
What are you going to do?
Right.
And when you get an opportunity to never give up, you just can't.
Yeah.
It's just not an option.
Well, what's the alternative? What is the alternative?
Well, that is a very dark,
dark place I wouldn't want to be.
Yeah, no. And when you have the opportunity and the resources to go out and meet people like Kelly Orchard, she's going to change your life, and she's going to help you change your life.
And that's badass.
Because let me tell you something. The time that I've known her, she's helped me change my life.
Aww.
And the idea is that you're a vat of knowledge. And I have a saying about Rotary, and I know you when I first came there, I said, you'll never increase your net worth until you increase your network.
Yes.
And really what we're doing here today, this is networking. Mm-hmm. And forget about how much money or all of that. It's not really about that. Because your net worth is not about money.
No.
Your net worth is about self. You say, what am I worth? Well, if you talk to my grandson thinks I'm priceless.
Yes. Well, it's what you give, right? That's what your worth really is what you have inside that you freely give.
100%.
And
100%.
so, and that's one of the reasons why I love the Rotary Group. You said networking, and it's the world that I circle in and travel in is radio and psychotherapy. And radio and psychotherapy is about one thing: relationships.
Yes.
But isn't all business really about relationships?
100%.
100%. So go out and get some relationships going. When we talk about building relationships, never give up. If your life has been completely derailed, Steve and I both, and that's how we bonded. He'd been watching some of the videos and following me, and we were getting better acquainted, because you were kind of new to Rotary just a year or so ago, right?
Yes.
And so we're still getting acquainted. And so one day after I recorded recorded one with somebody, and I approached Steve, and he goes, I want to talk to you. I want to be on one of your Mustang Monday videos. And I'm like, I want to have you on. So it worked out really great. That's part of it. Never give up. and establish relationships with people, and don't be afraid to just ask for what you want.
Yes, because people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care.
Right.
And when they know how much you care, and Kelly, nobody cares more than you do.
Oh, well, this isn't about me, but thank you. But nobody cares more than you either, too, you know? Did I say that right? Nobody cares more than you?
But I think like-minded people, I think that's why...
gravitate towards each other.
No,
because
100%.
These helpers and healers. And I'm so glad that you... You know, it's like, I don't want to say I'm glad you had a head injury. You know what I mean? That's not what I'm saying, but I'm glad that it may have been the best, worst thing that ever happened to you. And that's what I say about my heart issue. You know, is that it's the best, worst thing that happened to me because it shifted my perspective. And it gave me the opportunity to help people.
Well, it was quite a wake-up call for me. So I ask all of you out there today, what's your wake-up call? What's happened in your life like that?
Yeah.
And don't give up.
Right. We're here for you.
And be badass.
Be badass. You just ended it for me. All right, I'm going to do it. Okay, so everybody, first of all, you have to say where we are and what your place says this should really be called. It's not Mustang Monday. It is...
Well, just never forget this. It's a fun day when you buy a Hyundai.
Okay.
And I'm at Temecula Hyundai. I'm the Director of Operations here. We would love the opportunity to earn your business. So come on down and see us. We are an essential business. We're open. We're here 7 days a week, and we can't wait to meet you.
All right, everybody. I'm Kelly Orchard. This is Mustang Monday. This is Steve Nicholson from
Temecula Hyundai.
And you have to just say it with me, okay? We are reminding you to be bold.
Be bold.
Be brave.
Be brave.
Be confident.
Be confident.
Be badass.
Be badass.
As you enjoy these interviews, know that you can watch the videos of Mustang Monday on Kelly's YouTube channel, too. Turn up your energy with Mustang Monday. Here once again in the driver's seat is Kelly Orchard.
You have no idea what we're doing, do you?
No, I haven't the slightest idea.
All right, well, this is Kelly Orchard. I'm here with my dad for Mustang Monday. I actually drove up to my dad's house to get him in my car so we could do some badass tips from the streets. Can you say that for me?
I can say badass.
You can. Oh my God, you guys! Not joking. My dad never swears, so for him to say it again.
I can say that.
You can say it at least one time in your lifetime, right?
That's right.
Yeah. Well, there was a couple of things that I wanted to get you in on this because, I talk a lot about mentorship, and I talk a lot with when I do my speaking and I do my teaching, I share the story about my early days in radio, where doing sales and being on the air I was novice. I was a rookie. I wasn't very good at it, and I was a teenager, and so I would come to I would go back to the station, this is the stories that I tell. I would crawl up in your lap crying and say, "Dad, please don't make me do this anymore. I hate this. It's so embarrassing." And what is it that you used to tell me?
Probably go back and do it again.
Go back and do it again. Yeah, but there was a thing that you used to say to me, and I use it a lot. You got to remember what you say, Kelly.
No,
it's no big deal.
That was only a week ago.
It's only a week ago. Okay, but you used to say what? Come on, tell me.
I can't remember.
You can't remember because you're old now, right?
Yeah.
But you used to tell me, it's like, don't worry about it. It's only Victorville.
It's only
Victorville. Yeah. Okay, now you can say it. Okay, so you'd say, don't worry about it, Kelly. It's
only Victorville.
And what did that mean for when you would say that to me?
It means that this is, it isn't the end of the world. It isn't Los Angeles. It's only Victorville.
Because you came from Los Angeles radio.
Yeah.
And so when you were teaching me, you were like, this is only Victorville. It's small time. But the message that I got for me was that it's no big deal. It's not the end of the world. So you made a mistake, or you're just starting out and you're learning. It's going to be okay. It's not such a big deal. It's not the end of the world.
Right.
Right?
End of the world is tomorrow.
The end of the world is tomorrow. All right. So everyone, this is my dad, Ken Orchard. I share a lot of stories about my years in radio when I'm out speaking and training. And
were they good years, Kelly?
Yeah, of course it was. It was great years.
Yeah.
What about for you? Was it good years for you?
Yes, they were. You would like to go back sometime and recorrect anything you made a mistake in, but that's not the way that life turns out.
Yeah, but it's really no regrets.
No, none at all.
No,
just too many memories to it.
Yeah.
Your kids ended up great. The history of the station ended up great. the life still continues to go on. It's great.
Well, if you were to give somebody, now this is badass tips from the streets. So, and based on the, life experiences that you've had in your 81 years, Dad's 81, as we sit here in my Mustang, what would be one tip that you would give to somebody?
Oh, well, you have to go through these things.
Yeah.
And you have to live them because, someday all you'll have back left is memories.
Yeah. So you're saying live your life and enjoy it. Live your life and enjoy it, because when you get to this age...
Try and recall if you could.
Going to surprise me?
Yeah, what are you going to do, surprise me now?
Yeah, I know.
With the topic?
Well, it's like I'm Kelly Orchard. This is Mustang Monday, and this is my dad. And yes, I'm here with him. It's not always very often I can get my dad in my Mustang. So
It's not that I don't fit.
It's not that you don't fit. It's just that I have a more grown-up car, and you prefer that, right?
This is like a submarine. It's like we're sitting just above water right now.
It is a little bit. I do remember, it's like, this is my fourth Mustang, and I don't remember, do you remember when you asked me, we were in LA or something, we'd gone to do a sales call, and we took my Mustang, my 82, I think at the time, which was also a GT, and you said, let me drive your car, and I let you drive the car. Do you remember what happened?
No.
I do. It's like, I'm sitting in the passenger seat, and you gunned it, and it was like, it went so fast, and you were like so shocked. You go, this car has a lot of power. I don't think I want to drive it. And we like switched right there. And that's all I remember, is that the only time you ever drove one of my Mustangs, and you were like, no, I don't want to do that.
Yeah, I guess it had too much power, because I remember before we were married, I took my car, which was a 54 Ford. I took it out to the racetrack in Saugus or Newhall, someplace, and you could try and see how fast you could go to and you had a quarter of a mile, and I got it up to 74 miles an hour.
Ooh.
Before the mile ran out.
74.
That was a lot.
I can go 74 in like 30 seconds.
And you paid $5 or so, whatever it was. Way back when.
Way back when.
And you could drive it that fast. But it had your car had so much power. It was just it's like if you go back to it, it'd be like sitting in one of those toy cars where you pedal now.
Yeah. Well, that's how I feel about when I drive my other car. Is because this car has so much get up and go, and the other one barely does.
And now it's electric car.
Yeah.
And you are driving your Mustang here.
Yeah.
In $4 gallon gas.
Yeah, it's pretty expensive, but the thing is this car is now 13 years old. I've had this car 13 years, and I just it's like I've been promoting it, is because what happened was the battery was dying, because I never drive it, because I do have a secondary car. Well, this is my second car, or my weekend car, and the battery kept dying, and so I had to be reminded to drive it. So my friend said, drive it every Monday when you come to Rotary Club, and so I just coined Mustang Monday, and just thought, I'm just gonna start doing some videos in the car. But so I drove up to get you, and so that we could, because like I said, it's like you're the biggest certified badass I know.
All right, now do I stay here in Victorville, or are you going to kidnap me?
Probably kidnap you and just take you home with me. Yeah. So you have some work you got to get done, Dad.
What a Monday Mustang that will be.
Mustang Monday that will be. That's for sure. Picking up my dad. But it's like, this is all about badass tips from the street. So basically, we're giving badass tips about encouragement, positivity, work, whether it's leadership or it's work or relationships. What would you, it's like you've had such a long life. You're 81. You've also had a lot of tragedy in your life. And there's one thing that I can always count on is consistent with you, Dad, is that you have a very strong faith.
Yes.
And you never give up, and you've always had such a gracious and a humble attitude towards everyone.
Thank you very much.
Well, you're welcome. But I wanted to know. Okay, so how did you become that way, and what would you encourage somebody else to do?
I guess you come from your background. My mother and dad were similar ways. They were also married 50-some years before Mother died first, about 83. Was I thinking?
85. 85 or 86, yeah.
And then Dad died 95. And of course, they've both gone now. 2 sons are gone. Several animals are gone too. But still love everybody. and still look forward to what's in store next week, or next month, or next year. And so it's enjoyable being here on Monday, Mustang.
Mustang Monday. You'll get it right. You'll get it right. Yeah. Well, it's like this is kind of like a radio thing. Remember, they would have like 2 for Tuesdays and stuff like that. So it's like this Mustang Monday just kind of flowed out, and I post these on all the social media. I have a YouTube channel, and it's going to become part of what I do on a regular basis to provide tips.
Or Freaky Friday.
Freaky Friday. Yeah.
Figure that one out.
Yeah, figure that one out. Well, it's like I wanted to do a radio station and do One Hit Wonder Wednesdays.
Oh.
But you could only do that for so long and you'd run out of the one hit wonders, right?
That's right.
So, yeah. All right, well, this is my dad, and this was his badass tip from the street for today. I'm Kelly Orchard. Now repeat this with me. Remember to be bold. Say it. Be bold.
Be bold.
Be brave.
Be brave.
Be confident.
Be confident.
Be badass.
Be badass.
Thanks for listening and getting one step closer to being licensed to be badass. Be sure to subscribe to continue on the bus to Badassville. Snag your Badass Habits ebook at licensed2bebadass.com. You can stay in the slow lane and get just enough tools for successful badassery, one podcast at a time. Or you can join the Badass Ambassador crew in the fast lane by checking your baggage with my Licensed to Be Badass integrated program with videos, worksheets, and group coaching for motivation, mindset, and a fresh approach to living a fruitfully badass life. I want to thank my guest, Steve Nicholson, with his heartfelt badass tip to never give up. Then again, of course, my dad, who's well into his 80s, with some badass insights to life and leadership. Hey, don't forget to subscribe to the Badass Habits ebooks, and I'll send you a License to Be Badass sticker. How badass is that?
Badass Attitudes, licensed here, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Wednesday, again, we turn up the energy. Tune in and tune up. Badass is an acronym, and each Wednesday, Kelly shares tips, tools, and information about how you can become licensed to be badass too. Be bold, be brave, be confident, be badass.